with the statement. Okay, let me give a statement first.
Yes.
Hang on. I know you got a lot of questions. Hang on. Okay, we have finished the prosecution's case today, and they have offered us a list of witnesses, which technically they must make available. I mean, these witnesses physically must be available. 66 witnesses, but we notice some of them are technically not here. And in fact, there is evidence to say that the IO said some of these witnesses cannot be found. So that is another story. Can you offer somebody who's not there? We will raise that when the time comes, okay? Now, the dates for the submission has been fixed. You know the dates, yeah? I don't have to repeat it. And the judge stresses only if the defense is called. Then he has reserved a date for the defense to be to adduce their testimony. Okay. Now, for today, testimony of the IO, as a matter of record, what transpired in case you did not attend, we have adduced evidence that this very same case has gone through the process of MACC, through their various top investigators, including the head of that particular department, and of course the IO. And I have suggested, and I know this for a fact, although he denied, that all the DPPs in the MACC, the one that I named, has also gone through it, and then another DPP or two in the Attorney General's office has also gone through it. So all in all, after so many have gone through it, the papers went to and fro because questions were posed to the MACC to answer to the Attorney General Chambers. Finally, they decided no case in SRC, no case in 1MDB, the 2.6 billion. Okay? And then they appealed. They appealed for reconsideration. Again, it was rejected. So after May of 2019, he testified, he again appealed. And this time, they say, okay, we'll charge. So that will be interesting to know why. Is there a special evidence that they found after May 2018 or not? Okay? That's number one. Now, number two, you also heard from the witness the various answers that is provided in relation to the questions that after the Attorney General previously, yeah, I'm talking about Tan Sri Apandi, has given a direction that the case closes, the two cases close, yeah? The MACC themselves have suggested as an alternative, that means no longer Datuk Sri Najib is in issue, but they say the following person should be charged. Some of the people, I have named them, I think about 5 or 6 persons. And they have given direct, strong evidence and given particulars why these witnesses ought to be charged. And interestingly, he said, no decision has been made. And I use the word, so the matter is tergantung, I mean it is suspended, he said yes. And coupled with the fact that there is travel ban on all these witnesses, including Nick Faisal. Yeah? So the question mark which you need to make up your mind, which will be subject matter of our submission, is why are these witnesses, so-called witnesses, not charged? And why are they kept hanging? Is it because they are giving evidence now or what? So all these should be in your head. I'm not going to suggest, okay? But what I've just told you as a matter of data, as a matter of evidence, came out today. I think you were following it. Okay? Now, the other significant matter, apart from the question of putting the timetable, is the question of one particular blogger. I am seriously interested in going after them because this blogger has completely gone on the other divide of being contemptuous. It is not just ordinary contempt, it is the worst contempt I've ever seen. Okay? And I am providing this information to the Attorney General. I want to see whether the Attorney General move and get this blogger cited for contempt. Because even the slightest of nonsense, small thing, the Attorney General thought it was contempt against me, against my client. I want to see what the Attorney General does with this complaint. If he does not do anything with this complaint, we are going to lodge a complaint in this court and make sure that this blogger does not repeat that. And I want to make sure that this blogger is punished severely because of what he said. Because he insulted the client, Datuk Sri Najib, make judgments and saying that he's guilty, saying that a first-year law student would be able to know that this man is as guilty as hell, and that the defense team is procuring a defense that is dishonest. All that has been stated. Okay? So you can't have a worse contempt than that. So I want to make this person an example so that people know that you can't, even without the gag order, you can't just simply talk without any limit. Yes?
Question?
Now question time.
Yeah. So for the prosecution side, they have 57 witnesses.
Yeah.
So for defense side, how many?
I can't tell you now. I can't tell you now. Strictly speaking, we should know what is the decision of the judge. If the judge called for the defense, because he may acquit, if he called for the defense, then we need to know what is the nature of the offense that he calls for. He may not call for all, he may amend. So depending on the charge, our witnesses will be crafted on their statements. So I can't answer that now.
So Nick
Okay.
Faisal is not offered by either side. Is Nick Faisal in the list?
No, we don't offer anybody.
Yeah, but
It's not our job. Their side, they are not offering because Nick Faisal is not around.
No, it's not in the list of 66.
Yeah, because he's not around. But there are other people not around, they offered. So I don't know how you offer a hantu, you know?
The prosecution said that they are confident that they've produced enough evidence for the case for the judge to call the defense. How do you feel about your prospects after all these months of testimony?
Okay. I want to be silently confident. Okay? We are very confident of our own defense. We are very confident that defense ought not to be called. Yeah? In this case, because I think we have knocked down virtually everything. But as I've said, I don't want to say more until the day of the submission.
What kind of preparation you will do for the next coming?
We have to interview witnesses and so on. Yeah, we have interviewed our client. We have to prepare our client in the event of anything. But there's a lot of witnesses, documents, and so on. Any other question?
What about juggling the two cases? The prosecution said that was your decision to have the same legal team, or your client's decision to have the same legal team for both the cases.
Yes.
And that's your choice where they have split
Yeah.
teams.
Yeah.
So what about juggling the two cases?
Yes, yeah, that's a good question. Now, you know, I have said this, the choice to have the same team for SRC and 1MDB is a purposeful choice because the two cases have got not just similar, it's identical defenses in many ways. So, having gone through SRC, it'll be a waste if the team changes because we can use the knowledge that we had in the SRC trial to do a better job in the 1MDB, or rather to extend it into the 1MDB trial. So it is for that reason we maintain the same team. Okay? Now, of course, the accused person has got the right to counsel, which is provided by the Constitution. And he has chosen this team to be in all his trials because they are interrelated. This is the first time you will have, I think, probably in the Commonwealth or even in the world, where an accused person is facing a battery of charges and the trials are put layered one after another back to back. Never before. So it is not just unfair to him, it's also unfair to the defense team. So he will go into the issue of whether in the overall scheme of things, whether this is a fair trial, not necessarily this court. This court probably may not have that much element until when we clashes dates during the defense. Yeah? At the moment, there is no clash of dates. But from tomorrow onward, you're going to have a clash of dates, a clash of workload. As I've said, in the daytime, we are in the 1MDB. In the nighttime, we are working on the SRC, which is not a situation any lawyer would want. Okay, so that compromise the right to counsel, because the counsels that he has chosen will be minimized in its efficacy, because there's limited time and there's so much physically possible for a counsel to do. Yeah?
4 years ago, MACC planned to charge Najib, but failed. So what's the reason? And as a lawyer of Najib, what did you do for that charge?
All right. I asked that question. They avoided it. So you're the only one with a clear head. They did not admit that 4 years ago they wanted to charge Najib. They never admitted. I asked him, did you have this charge sheet? He says no, he doesn't have it. He doesn't know. Very evasive. Huh? But you must know. I said, if it exists, the charge sheet was put forward by the previous AG, namely Gani Patel and his team. And my question mark, Tan Sri Gani put up this because I've suggested this charge sheet was put forward when Najib's statement has not even been recorded. He has not been asked. The most important person is the accused person. You want to even think about charging. Don't you call him and say, come here, let me hear your side of the story. Maybe you got a very good explanation. You haven't interviewed him, and you're thinking of charging him in 2015. So we ask you whether you would like that kind of treatment to yourself or to your relative. You never interviewed the person, and you want to charge him already. Not only that, you never interviewed Datuk Subo, because Datuk Subo was overseas, and you know how critical Datuk Subo is in this case. You never interviewed Nick Faisal, yeah, and you never interviewed people like Joe Low and a few others. So it is not even skeletal. The previous AG, Tan Sri Gani Patel, if it is true, I'm not saying it is true, because now they deny it. At one time they say that's not theirs, that's not their charge sheet. So Sarawak report is getting it from somewhere which is not theirs. Okay? So very quite conveniently they have said it is not theirs. So we leave it at that. But I've said if it is yours, then MACC together with some others, including the previous AG, was trying to do something completely not sanctioned by law. Were they trying to do a coup d'etat? Were they trying to remove a sitting prime minister by an illegal method? Just drag him out and charge him. When your investigation paper is not even ready. You understand? That was the nature of the question. But of course he said he doesn't know.
You told court that the bench was very uncomfortable. So what do you hope to see done?
Okay. You guys are in the audience. You have got a layer of cushion. You sit there for the whole day. Even then, I'm told by Jega, for instance, he says he's got pain in his ass because it's quite hard. But you imagine, just sit down there for 1 hour, sit down there on a plank for hours. But I invite you to sit for 1 hour. As young as you are, your buttocks are more flashy than Datuk Sri Najib. Just see whether you can handle it. So it goes against the very concept of innocent till proven guilty. You're already punishing my client. I didn't realize this because most of my clients that I defend are quite young people. But Datuk Sri Najib is in his 60s. You know, his buttock doesn't have that much flesh. And he goes through his bone and he says he gets a headache because obviously the bone from the buttocks is put up right up to the head. So I've asked the AG perhaps to look at this and the judge, because they have to change the system. Why can't they put a simple cushion? How much does it cost to cushion up the sitting place? I'm sure some of you have got relatives who have been charged. You don't want that relative to be seated like that, to be treated like an animal, because he's not guilty yet. He's not been found guilty. Why are you already punishing him? You put him on a fence, like as though he's going to run and escape. He's on bail. So that fencing should be removed. He should be seated on a chair with a table so that he can follow the proceedings. If you or your relatives are hit with the same situation, then you will realize, and then you will think, you say, Tan Sri Shafiee was right. Perhaps you'll be running to me and say, can you be my defense counsel?
Will in the future, Najib will defend for himself? I mean, speak in the court.
Of course, he has to come. He has to say, he has to be the first witness. Assuming the defense is called. You are assuming there is already be a defense called. Can you hang on for it? And we are praying that defense is not called. You are already assuming defense is called. Okay? Thank you very much.